You're listening to Well I Laughed, Part 3 of Hometown Hijinks, a very merry Well I Laughed holiday episode. Hey everyone, just as a little warning for today's episode, if you are listening to us perhaps in the car with your kids, or if you're cleaning the house and your kids are in earshot, we do have some top secret discussions about the inner workings of Santa Claus and his elves. So if you don't want your kids to hear that, it may be advised to listen to this another time that they are not able to listen. And with that, let's get into today's episode.
You taught me how to do this. This is your fault.
I didn't realize that it was so hard.
I was a helpless wee babe a second ago.
Dear listener, because now we're apparently recording after 12 minutes of recording, I gave Grant a pop filter to put on his mic, which is currently on his mic, and he didn't know how to install it on his mic.
And I think it's brave to still be learning in your 30s, okay? To our 42% of listeners out there, you know what I'm talking about right now. Also, we need to do the intro that we had pitched, which is, oh, hi.
Hello.
Welcome to a Well I Laughed Very Merry Christmas. This episode comes out, I think, right before
27th.
This episode comes out right after Christmas, so we would just like to use this as a chance to remind you all the reason for the season.
I don't know where you're going with this.
It is entirely to make you forget that there's still 2.5 more months of winter. We're so sorry. There is now nothing else to look forward to, except Valentine's Day, in which we all get to feel weird on. Welcome.
I don't like that I made direct eye contact with Casey.
Oh yeah, do we also want to introduce the other people in the room, Maia?
Yeah, so I have mentioned several times about my dear friends Kelsi and Edgar, who have a lot of weird stories like I've shared. Kelsi's sitting right in front of me, and I can't help but not. She didn't like me when I first met her, and I'm gonna...
That's true. What she said was she thought you were, what was it, egotistical? I don't wanna...
Abrasive and uninterested.
So much meaner.
Abrasive and uninterested is what she said, and now she's hosting my podcast.
Boy, we've gotten some mean messages over the Instagram over the last 6 months.
That one hurt the most.
Also, thank you so much for the bolognese. It was fantastic.
Is that technically what it was?
No, it's close. I actually want to learn how to make bolognese, but it's close.
Okay. They made homemade pasta. Edgar did insist on waiting to finish making the homemade pasta until Grant showed up.
Every time we whisper Edgar's name, he takes like one smaller step back away. Because we also have Edgar.
Yeah. Edgar, who is Casey's slightly older counterpart.
Exactly. Cousins.
Cousins, as we decided.
Not by law or blood, but really by temperament. And you can tell he's in the room.
I feel red.
Oh, is that tattoo flaring up on you again?
If you couldn't hear that, he said, I feel red, and then rubbed his chest.
And then we're also joined tonight by Casey, who continues to refuse to make cocktails on camera for all of you.
And also has told us, even though we are recording in a different house, that he is still going to escape to a different floor. He has no interest in being involved.
I think this would be a great time to remind everyone of what happened on last Thanksgiving.
What happened last Thanksgiving?
What happened last
You
Thanksgiving?
recorded your first podcast.
Did we?
Not Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day.
Did we record our very first episode on Valentine's?
That'd be really
Shocking
funny.
absolutely no one that I wouldn't even know the date and that it wouldn't be that important to Casey and Maia.
Grant shows up and just goes, oh, it's Valentine's.
Sorry, could you get a little bit closer? Okay.
To the mic? Okay, great. Thanks for making my editing life harder.
What were you going to say?
Don't move this.
I'm done.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. That's fine.
You know what I'd say in my
People
classroom?
want more Casey.
Exactly.
Thank you, Edgar, and that's also the volume we need.
That's my normal volume.
How many people do you think have just hit plus 15 for the last like 4 times in
I
a
don't
row?
know, and none of the softwares that I use to tell me who listens will ever tell me that.
Good,
so
good, I love that.
Don't need to know. How was your week, Grant? Since yesterday when we recorded Patreon.
Right. So here's the thing, friends. We it's actually done, and I've no longer mixed up. Tournament's done. That's great. My feet hurt a lot. Not supposed to walk almost 20,000 steps in dress shoes. So noted there. It's fine. I ran a half marathon. My legs legs felt worse after the tournament than the half marathon, but that's fine. And then I slept in for a little bit, didn't know it was supposed to snow, which then has also made me super concerned about what other news bits I've missed over the last week. And then after
All you need to know is that George Santos got it
and
taken out
I
of Congress.
am,
That's it.
I mean, devastated.
I really wanted to know where his character arc went from
I
here.
don't think you understand how much homophobia George Santos absorbed for the rest of the community when everyone could make fun of him, you know?
He started a Cameo account, so you can now pay $200 for
Oh.
him to make a video directly for you.
Listen, during the 30 seconds of free time I had today, that's the one little bit that I read, that it started off at $150, and clearly there's a demand for it, because now it's $200. And you can have him wish you, like, happy birthday or happy anniversary, or, and this was what was actually written, you could have him talk about more general concepts like gossip. I'd be so mad if he's better at podcasting than us.
I saw an example one that he posted where he's like congratulating some Harvard Law School girl about haters are always gonna hate. And girl, you're a Harvard Law School grad. So haters are always gonna hate. Anyway, Botox keeps us young and fillers keep us
I
plump.
so wanted him to be like, as a fellow Harvard graduate, I know how tough that is. George Santos is the physical embodiment of Gretchen Wiener's line, I don't think my father, the inventor of toaster strudel, would be very pleased to hear any of
Which
this.
is also what we throw at Casey whenever he mentions anyone famous. Oh, Edgar's now bringing over a chair.
I love it. Look at him. He's red again, though. You can't look at him directly. Like a farm cat you're trying to rescue. And I would know I tried to rescue many farm cats, for those of you who think I have no heart.
Yeah, whatever.
just
There's no
allergic.
dogs here, so clearly.
I don't know when you're going to cut this in, so I understand that this is
Right
an
there, actually.
audio. Good. Oh, are we recording? It makes her so angry.
Throw my drink in your face.
Since it's an audio platform, let's go ahead and talk for a second about
Where
why we are recording here. How would you describe this room?
As Grant described it, it's the location from which we would threaten to siege our enemy's fortress.
So let me make this clear. Our wonderful hosts, Kelsi and Edgar, hit that. Okay.
Love Christmas.
Have a beautiful home, and they also, and I'll use the word beautiful, two beautiful huskies, which are the size of wolves, which we just legalized in Colorado, so good for us. Anyways, so there's giant dogs at our feet, and there's a fake fire behind us, but then also fur stockings.
There's a fake fire behind us and also a fire on the TV.
A virtual fake fire. And then there's fur stockings, and there's a giant, like, Yuletime Christmas tree right next to
One
us.
of like 12 in this home.
100%. You are Sansa from Game of Thrones.
One of 7. I'm being corrected.
Is this the tree that has the pickle on it?
No, that is the only tree that I bought a pickle that's about 1.5 inches long in Munich and hid it in their home, and they haven't found it yet. I asked if I could give a hint, and they said no, both at the same time, very
Sounds
aggressively.
like it's roughly the size of Edgar's sword, so it should be easy to find.
The letter opener is long. Skinnier, but longer.
We validate your experiences, Edgar.
We appreciate you guys being here.
And we decided to do this because it's Christmassy, and this is a Christmassy episode. And I don't have any Christmas decorations in my house up yet.
Are you going to put any up in your house?
Yeah, we just got the lights for the Christmas tree.
Oh, fun. Actually,
So maybe.
let's get a poll of the room. Real Christmas trees. Take them or leave them.
They have 7 fake Christmas trees in this house.
Sure,
and
but
you're
I don't know if
asking
there's
that?
like a neighborhood coven or whatever. I don't know. We're in the deep suburbs right
You're
now.
sitting in the president of the HOA's home.
That's true.
Really?
Yeah.
Hold on. What was that power takeover like? Because it
I
couldn't
love
have
that he
been
looked at me
peaceful.
as though I was the president. Edgar's
Are you the president? Wait, is that why you can turn off people's water? We got a
No,
really
that's
regular.
just because that can't be on the
Oh, do we have to cut
podcast.
that? Sorry.
Let's cut that.
No, they can't.
Oh, okay. We'll keep that on.
Amazing.
Excellent. Our
Great
patrons
news
love
for
that.
us. They love the vaguely illegal shit. Join
They
our
love
Patreon
whenever
for more.
I say we need to cut that and it doesn't get cut.
No, they love it even more when they go, "You'll cut that, right?" And you go, "Sure." Okay, so why did you run for the position?
Oh, I want to burn it down.
You Ron Swanson, the HOA.
I know more than you.
This actually came from a very wholesome place in that, like there was like some discrimination and some racism in the previous board, and like the lady, I'm not going to use her name, she is much older, and Edgar was like that I could easily make this better, and so it came from a wholesome place, and so I have tolerated living with the HOA president because he is making the world a better place through our neighborhood.
Can I ask what actions do you take as HOA president?
In the sense, like, what do I do for the neighborhood?
Yeah, what is Kelsi tolerating? Is it just like letters or?
It's like more neighborhood behavior.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, we have meetings.
Neighbors that can't handle conflict, so they email the president.
Yeah,
That's
But then
there are people that have showed up at our door, and
No.
Kelsi has answered.
No. Kelsey's
And
like,
then they make the
"Oh."
mistake I did, which is like, oh, tastefully dressed white woman. You must be the president of the HOA. And you have to go, wait, hold on, let me go get my husband. He's gaming. Did I summarize that interaction?
Remember when I called Maia abrasive and unapproachable? I'm abrasive and unapproachable.
I get it from
Situations
somewhere.
like that. I don't have patience for people.
She's my chosen mother.
Where I've heard the interaction and been in a different room, and I'm like, oh wait, hold
on.
household.
It's an election year. Like, I have to tiptoe back up front. One time, several of my friends, the college friend group was visiting Denver, and because we're now 30 plus, which is brave to admit.
You're saying that okay, that's fine.
We outnumber.
Yeah,
That's fine. That's
we're a
fine.
voting majority. Anyways, because we're all over 30, when we go on friend vacations, we absolutely must have a nap sometime in the afternoon.
I
Like,
traveled with you too. You
I know,
remember that,
but
right?
I wasn't going to drag you like this.
Okay.
We have two new parents, and then the rest of us just look tired. And so we're at my house one time when the whole group was visiting Denver, and I woke up from a nap and I walked from my bedroom into the living room where I ran into Lydia just chatting up a traveling salesperson about whether or not my house needed siding or not. And I hate talking to people at my door, so I just pivoted on my heels and walked right back.
I love Lydia.
Anyways, she got a quote. She goes, well, I figured it would be too complicated to explain to them that, like, well, no, I'm not the homeowner. And so I just figured I'd just
That's
kind of
exactly
feel,
how you explained it to them. I'm not the homeowner.
I'm sorry, the homeowner's asleep. Goodbye? Like, anyways.
No, she would never.
She once told me the other day that she does not like talking to strangers, and
That's a lie.
Right, but I
She can lie to herself
I
all
didn't
she
want
wants.
to tear down the little reality that she had built for herself. I was like, I've had to actually tell her one time, please stop talking to the Greyhound bus driver. It's 3 more hours until Louisville.
We walked into the Alamo Draft House last night to watch the new Hunger Games movie, and Lydia, who has never been to an Alamo Draft House, is walking around like a child in a candy store like, oh my God, this is amazing.
I love this.
I love this. I'm never watching a movie anywhere else. And meanwhile, Tyler's sitting there looking at the menu like, I'm not impressed. They're sitting directly next to each other. I felt so bad for Lydia.
No, here's the thing. You cannot rain on that woman's parade.
Which is good.
She's here for a reason.
Tyler would have.
At the end of the night, Tyler said something along the lines of like, I actually really do kind of like this place. I think I really did have a good time. And I think he wanted us to say, good, we're no longer mad at you. But since we weren't mad at him at all to begin with, none of us said that to him. And I think we disappointed him a little bit in that process.
He needs
Tyler,
therapy.
we love you. Also, what's spring of 2024 like? When you eventually listen to this.
He's a patron.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just like making up for not listening to the last 10 episodes or what, but he does give us money now.
We love him to death.
I have to tell you a side story. There's people that
Just a
come
little bit
to our-
louder, sorry.
Oh, there's people that come to our door, and I asked Kelsi if I could pull a Grant where I just open it, shake my head, and then
Thank you. Thank you so much.
But I also have used where I open the door and they start talking to me and I just look them dead in the eye and I go, oh, I'm sorry, my parents aren't home.
That's way better.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Especially as like a 6-foot fucking whatever man.
God, I can't grow facial hair.
Edgar played basketball in high school, and you can tell. That's how I would describe it. I'm sorry my parents aren't home is hilarious. I love
You
that.
should also use that as a bald white man.
Thank you. Could you imagine the Norman Bates situation that would breed?
I'm sorry, my parents aren't home.
Meanwhile, I close the door and my mother's just dead in one of the wingbacks. Do you know how nice those wingbacks are? I'm gonna put a corpse there.
It's true. You do get really sensitive about those wingbacks.
I mean, it's a well-decorated home. What else can I say? It is funny that we're now going to other living rooms before we go to my living room, but that is okay. I'm not offended by that, for the record. I have a Christmas tree. It's fine. Whatever.
Okay. Whatever you say.
Again, so for anyone who's fast-forwarding, should we do maybe an Am I the Asshole story? Or no
I
not
think
yet?
we just end the episode right there.
Okay, well, I was going to then pivot. You see how these decisions are made live on air. That's how we make the
Do
decisions.
you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I was going to pitch a whole different thing.
Oh,
Do we want to
okay.
do an Am I the Asshole story first, or do we want to ask some of our wonderful guests some of their favorite Christmas memories?
I don't know if Kelsi has any Christmas memories. She clearly didn't have any Halloween
That's
memories.
so true.
See, I didn't have Halloween, but my mom fucking loves Christmas.
What? No.
You want to know why my house looks like this?
Huh?
I actually did kind of assume your house looked like this because you did not get Christmas.
Yeah, it does make sense. Do you have a good Christmas story?
No. No, I don't know if I have a lot of like great memories.
Oh,
I did, like,
wow.
decorations.
How insensitive of you, Maya. Do you have any fun Christmas memories? No. Okay.
Anyway.
Edgar, Casey?
To be fair, her mom has walked into our house, seen all the Christmas decoration, goes, "Oh, there's really no color in here."
Was that before or after she asked where to put her cooler?
Probably during the set down.
Probably, yeah, that's fair.
To be fair, all of her decor matches her huskies, and huskies are neutral colors. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were being facetious. There's a lot of color in here.
Also, every room has a theme. Like, our bedroom is all like blues and silvers. My office is blue and gold, which matches my wallpaper. Downstairs is all Harry Potter, so I have my Harry Potter Christmas village. I have a tree inspired by Hagrid's hut. And then I have a tree that has all of my Harry Potter collectibles. There is color.
It is really cute.
I would.
Mom, she doesn't know how to use podcasts.
It's so, isn't it? It's so nice to have a safe space. And then I found out my parents are like active, near ferocious listeners.
This is the story I think we told on one of the episodes that will release right before this. But I get a text from Grant as I land in Texas that says, in the Whisper in the Woods episode, you mentioned that there's an owl on the dollar bill, and I need to know where it is. Maya, help! Maya, my dad has a magnifying glass.
Maya, here's a
Followed by
picture of my
picture.
dad with a magnifying glass. Listen, that morning, it was the first morning my dad had seen me in a couple months, and he was like, the first question I get asked, pre-coffee even, he goes, "Where's the owl?" I'm like, what? And then he explains what he's referencing, and he goes, "So where's the owl?" And I go, "Oh, I didn't ask." We record hours of content every week. We say things, and then you just hear it, and you go, "Yeah, that's the thing you said." Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Where's the owl? I don't know.
Turns out it's really small.
I have a vague idea where Bohemian Groves is. You think I'm going to know where the owl is? So no Christmas memories, huh?
Lovely.
Edgar, Casey, what was Christmas like for you guys?
Growing up,
If you're gonna tell
Yes.
a story, you're sitting in a chair.
Just a little bit closer.
Yeah, you do.
Share a story, Casey.
Share a story, Casey.
Very sorry.
The people want more.
Candy Mountain.
I'm trying to think of a story. Like, Christmas wasn't a very extravagant time for me growing up.
Same.
Do you need a minute to think? I just have a question.
Yeah.
You have this
I love Edgar. We should get Edgar on. If we get Edgar, would you join your cousin on the podcast?
I interviewed Casey for Cocktails for Casey.
Oh,
Yes,
fuck yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah. An episode we don't have to do? Cheers to that.
That you don't have to do.
I'm still
Fuck
choosing.
you. I still have to film and edit it. Grant's like, I'm out.
I can look up a YouTube tutorial on how to merge the videos together later.
And did you figure it out?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. I actually don't think it's a feature
No,
anymore.
we had a debate the other day whether it is proper, like, if kids think, if you should tell your kids initially that Santa Claus is real or not.
Oh.
Like, are you lying to your kids and is that bad?
Yeah, because is it like,
Or
are
should
you
let them
initially lying
experience
to them?
joy?
And my stance was like, okay, well, when did you figure out that Santa wasn't real? And I had the experience where my parents tried to reconvince me, so I was like really on the edge.
Reconvince you?
I had
hell?
like figured out that I was like, I'm pretty sure. Also, you should put in a disclaimer in case there's kids in the car before.
If you're listening,
Will you come sit
this-
right here?
if you're listening to this podcast
come
with
sit.
children in the car, you're a cool parent.
Come here, come here, come here.
Welcome.
Riddle.
It's mostly an audio platform. I want you guys to know, though,
Of our listeners.
for our YouTube friends, I'm wearing a sweater because I knew we were doing a Christmas episode. That is the temperature of this room right now. I am nothing but swamp under this. I'm sorry that's a gross thing to hear in your ear. Oh no, it's 2 whiskey drinks and a sweater. That's it. That's all
Again, I
it
can
is for
turn
me.
the fire.
Please don't. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay.
Your parents
So-
tried to reconvince you that Santa was
so
real?
I honestly, I don't know what age I was, but I was at the point where I was like, okay, I know that Santa's not real. And they got me, like, we were supposed to take home from school the little plastic bag with the glitter and the oatmeal as deer food, reindeer
Okay.
food. They're like, come on, sprinkle it in the backyard. And the whole time I'm like, this is stupid. Santa's not real. Fine. So we're sprinkling glitter in the backyard.
Can I ask, do you have any younger siblings?
No, I am the youngest.
7 years.
My sister is 7 years older
That's
than me.
actually, sorry, you just hit me with a lot of insane information kind of all at once. Because, listen, I don't know if you had this. Maya has more fudge. I think she was like, Edgar, you take this seat. Fudge is calling me. Maya was like, should I get up too? No, okay, it was for Fudge. That's fine. Here's the thing. I definitely thought your parents were trying to reconvince you to, like, protect your younger siblings. How old are you in this story?
I'd probably like elementary school-ish age.
Sure.
Yeah.
The age everyone is when they discover that he's
Yeah.
not real.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you do believe?
Yeah. Also, to be fair, I'm born in September, and so
Okay.
I was a New Year's accident.
Oh. I never do that math. I almost never think about heterosexuals. And when I do, I never think of their love life.
It's fine.
You really don't want to think about Edgar's parents' love life.
I've thought a lot about your parents' love life, so yeah, I think I'm all tapped out for the night. It's been a long dinner party. It was been good, though. Okay, so you're, like, learning about U.S. history for the first time.
Yeah.
And the 13 colonies, and your parents are also like, Santa's real, say it back.
Yes. Yeah. And so I'm out in the yard sprinkling. They're making me sprinkle this stuff out in the yard. And I go to bed and I'm like, all right, Santa's not real. Great night's sleep. Wake up in the morning and I'm excited for Christmas. I come down the stairs and there are footprints from the fireplace to the Christmas tree and back. We go outside to where the deer food has been placed down and there are sleigh tracks in the yard.
Were your family big skiers?
I am sold.
Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. Edgar today is an engineer.
When I told you that for years people would be like, Santa's not real, I was like, oh.
And that's why you're going to get coal.
I can tell you for a fact that there are sleigh tracks in my backyard. Come to find out, my dad put 2x4s and just slid them up and down the yard, and then flour on big boots.
Okay. Why were the reindeer going to be in your backyard? They land on the roof.
Correct. Now I understand that. And also, deductively, there were no actual reindeer hoofs. There were just sleigh marks. Did they continue to fly and just put the sleigh on the ground?
Like a helicopter kind of just hovering above the drop zone
Yeah.
there for a second.
Yeah. But when you're a child, you don't care about that. There's footprints and sleigh
I
tracks.
want to point out, by elementary school, especially later elementary school, you're adolescent at that point. Childhood is fleeting.
I want you to know that I was like, in advanced math so much that like my teacher just gave me the book and was like, here, go out in the hallway and complete the book and come back when you're done.
Edgar, you are just a smidge, I think, 6, 7, 10, 12, 14 months older than me. By this point, you had witnessed 9/11. You're not supposed to be falling for the Santa dude anymore.
I know you guys don't like conspiracy theories, but jet fuel doesn't burn out. I'm just kidding.
My God. On the Christmas episode?
I'm just kidding.
Listen. We've already been given the gift of the season, which is Henry Kissinger's death. Don't stare a gift in the mouth.
I need to clarify that.
Sorry, one second. Maya, do you want to give me some fudge too? Sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say? Okay.
I need to clarify that was a joke. I now believe in real facts.
You're over here like, I'm a critical thinker now.
Just took me a second to get out of my parents' thumb.
They also don't know how to use buttons.
Can I tell another story?
Yes, we'd actually
So
love it.
my parents, I don't even think they know what podcasts are. Mm-hmm. So when I tell you this,
Do you know the line from The Grinch, Jim Carrey's, when they're feeding him in the chair of cheer?
Not the chair of cheer!
This ain't you! I'll run in, grab a handful of popcorn shrimp, grab the check and get out. But what if it's a cash bar? Exactly. All I'm thinking of right now is, this is not fudge. Shove it in his mouth.
What is it?
This is delicious. Thank you. I'm sorry. You were sharing a trauma. Can you have a napkin? Sorry, go ahead.
No, not a trauma, just more of a...
I have one, Maya. I'm so sorry to our listeners. There's all these backstories that you're not privy to. We had a wild dinner before this. So, what orphanage did your parents steal you from?
Well...
Is that why you keep going back to Scotland? Sorry, I'm going to stop interrupting your story.
I've told my dad, I've looked into our lineage and I've told him that we are Irish, and he says no.
I also want to be clear, there's an important part of the story that's missing. Is Edgar, as we were dating, he was like, yeah, I'm Italian and Native American. I was like, no, you're not.
I can see your organs. You're not Italian, Native American. Look at yourself. Look at your skin complexion. You think you're Italian and Native American.
No, I was told that.
Was it the same afternoon you were told about Santa again?
Probably.
Like, they have spaghetti and lasagna every Christmas because they're so Italian, and I was like, you only put salt in these potatoes. Like, you are not Italian. He took 23andMe. He's 98% British.
You know how people, when they take 23andMe, get their nice colorful circles?
Yeah.
Mine is blue.
Wait, so this really is why you keep going back to Scotland?
That's actually me that keeps going back. I just brought them.
Edgar, I'm sorry, you had started several stories. I'm going to be quiet for a second.
My parents, we tell my parents that we're going to England and Scotland, and this is before we leave. And my mom says, oh, make sure you tell the Queen hello. And I was like, Mom,
no.
The Queen's dead.
No.
And in the background, my dad says, you can't say that. And so we take it as we just moved past it. And I was like,
what?
I was like, no, you got to keep moving. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in a loop.
That? Why? We're Italian and Native American.
So we are in England, and I have to FaceTime my mom. So I FaceTime her, and again, they ask oh, have you seen the Queen? And I was like, Mom, the Queen is dead. And again, my dad is like, stop saying, that's not, you can't say that while you're there. That's not it. And afterwards, we hang up, and the friends that we went with were like, we're pretty sure that your parents don't know that the Queen is dead. And I was like, honestly...
Listen,
I'm not sure either.
I can tell you for a fact the queen is dead because the day, oh God, and this is the best part about teaching like civics or debate. Anytime there's like a big world event happening, you just get to kind of scrap your lesson plan and put on CNN for the rest of the day. Oh, it's so good. You get so many missing assignments turned in, and the kids watch coverage of Queen Elizabeth's death. But she's also been dead for like a whole year.
A while.
Yeah, like a year plus.
We don't think they know. And they still don't know.
Or
How did you break the news to them?
I don't think I can. I think I could. I honestly think I could be like, the queen is actually dead, and they'll be like,
Wait.
nope. They just tell me no a lot. I tell them facts, and they say no.
Listener. When he was a child, they convinced him that Santa was real. And now he's helping convince them that the queen's alive. Can I also say, this I thought was going to be a Christmas episode, and it's just talking about how weird our families are. It's like a perfect Christmas episode.
I mean, a nice Christmas episode. I have read Night Before Christmas every Christmas for my entire life, and I continue to do it today with my wife.
What?
Yeah,
I don't know. It seems.
What?
she allows me to do it.
Okay, so the first question's why, but then also my question is, who did you read it to when you were in college? When you had roommates you weren't married to?
I went home for Christmas.
Like specifically to read The Night Before Christmas? Or?
Just in general. I went to mine, same as Maia, and then my home was in Thornton, which is 20 minutes away, so I just like went home. And then we sat and read. Looking back now.
What kind of reaction?
Now that he said
Grant's face tells
Edgar,
me
I love you. What kind of reaction did you think I was going to have to that kind of news?
I don't know. Like, it was sweet and wholesome and a nice Christmas story.
Listen, Grant in the future, I'm talking to you now. When this episode gets published, because we're probably listening to it on the drive back to Denver right now, what night did we watch the Polar Express with Dad? Because that's what happens every Christmas for me, is everyone's like, well, there's only like two of us, and this is Dad's favorite movie, so sure, we'll watch them. I'll be on my phone. It's fine. I love that. Is that it for your Christmas stories?
Yeah, I just...
All right. We're gonna welcome back Maia, and then I think also welcome Kelsi to the seats. So little interlude as we change out real quick. Kelsi, come on over. I'm actually gonna need to use the rushing whenever we get this changed.
I'm gonna warn you, Bo's in the tub. Just.
You want to explain to everyone else what that means?
Kelsi, what does that mean when Bo's in the tub? Who's
Okay,
Bo and what is the tub?
We have two huskies. They're very cute. Bo's really big. He has anxiety.
Much like Edgar.
Much like Edgar. And when he is hot or has anxiety or it's time for him to go to bed, he gets into our bathtub, which happens to be in the guest
And there's
bathroom.
also a curtain that's always drawn. So it's not like you walk in and you can see into the tub.
Yeah.
The tub is behind a curtain.
No, he wants to be fully enclosed. He's also has like 6 or 7 toys in there with him. But when guests come to our house for the first time, we kind of have to give him a heads up, because if you're peeing and all of a sudden you hear or just like a scritch scritch on the tub, you see him.
He's definitely in the tub. He's in the tub.
We've heard for our friends that we haven't warned.
Even though
startling.
I'm fully aware, I dog sit for them frequently, and I'm fully aware Bo loves the tub, and every time there's always an adjustment period where the first time I go to the bathroom, I hear him like move a little bit. I'm like, holy,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it can be very startling. But I'm used to it. I assume when you stay here, you just use our shower.
I use your shower, but I still use that bathroom. So,
Startling.
Kelsi, tell me about your Christmas traditions.
I grew up Catholic, so we'd obviously go to mass. On Christmas Eve.
That should not be a shocking. You also grew up religious. Shut up.
Apparently, that's startling fact. After everything I shared at dinner.
After everything Edgar shared.
But my mom doesn't like staying up late, so instead of going to any of the normal ones, even now as adults, we go to the 4 p.m. children's mass where Santa shows up.
Honestly, that feels fitting. Edgar looks thrilled. He's behind the camera. He looks ecstatic about that fact.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm thankful for Edgar now because we would go to a bar. Chili's is typically the only place open. But we'd always say we had to like go get like a last minute thing or whatever. And it was really that we were like going to the bar before we go to church. Well, in the last like 2 years, basically since COVID, we no longer actually get invited to mass, which is weird.
Your parents are like,
so
no,
yeah, yeah, they're like, they're not. Well, I'm like, I am unsavable at this point, but
Grant is also unsavable.
yeah. Oh, I got some high fives from the crowd.
I wanted to note for those of you listeners that are religious, we still love you.
We do.
We just have some trauma that we're working through.
Yeah. I will tell you this story. A couple years ago on Christmas Eve, so we showed up and we thought we had nobody had said anything about mass, and so we were like, Edgar's already laughing. We were like, maybe if we just show up like a minute late, like nobody said anything about mass. I think it was 2021, so it was like right after COVID.
Yeah.
So it was like, are they going? Are they not going? So we thought we had like timed it perfectly. Like we're gonna show up like 5 minutes after they leave, which is 3:30 because mass is at 4. To be clear,
The normal time in the day.
yeah. So we were like, we're gonna show up at like 3:40, right? So Edgar and I pull up, and my parents, it's just like one street, and then you have to like go up, it's a roundabout, and then you have to leave the neighborhood. Like that is where they live. And so we pull in, like garage door open, and like both cars still there. And unfortunately, the way where my parents' house is, like you drive in, and then you see you come around. Like it is a hairpin.
Oh.
So like we've already committed. Like we're in.
Everyone already has
like
seen
they
it.
have
Yep.
probably seen us
Yeah.
from the kitchen window.
Oh no.
And I was like, what is happening? They are very late for church. so we like pull in, and I was like, I guess we're doing this.
Damn
Like,
it.
all right. So we like walk in, and the house is like dead quiet. Like you can like hear a pin drop. And I looked at Edgar, and I was like, someone might be dead. Like
No.
silent. Like you don't hear the dog, you don't hear my parents. And I was like, what has happened? And so I'm like looking around, I look at Edgar, and he was like, I don't know, like he's gonna make a decision. So I walk upstairs, and I'm standing in the kitchen, and all of a sudden my dad comes out. It's like they have like half walls like upstairs. My dad comes like through the half wall of the kitchen and says nothing and walks by. And my mom then turns the corner, like tears. Oh God. She goes, I was just tears. Like they say nothing. I was like, are you okay? She was like, I fell. And I was like,
Oh no.
where? And she was like, there. And I was like, okay.
Oh my God.
Are you okay? What do you mean you fell? She's like, tripped over Koa, who's their dog. And I was like, are you okay? She's like, fine. My dad like hands her a tissue. He has still not said a word. She takes the tissue, dabs her face, and she goes, roast in the oven.
What?
Appetizers in the fridge. Heat to 375 in 10 minutes. No on the counter. And she like,
What in the glass onion is happening right now?
she grabs her purse. My dad still has said not a word. And they leave to go to church.
They're like, we planned a party, prepare it for us.
10 minutes later, my brother shows up,
Oh my God.
who I thought was already there, to be honest. I was confused when he showed up. And meanwhile, like, I have, like, popped champagne and have, like,
I need a drink?
started making the appetizers
Yeah.
that my mom has left in the fridge with the instruction note. And
It's hilarious that she left a note.
my brother walks in, he's like, where's mom and dad? I was like, they went to church. You didn't go with them? He's like, they didn't invite me. And I was like, where have you been? And he was like, a brewery. And I was like, he lives in Fort Collins. Like, my parents live in the Springs. He has clearly been in the Springs for a minute. And I was like, huh. And I like retell this story, and my brother goes, okay. And I was like,
What is happening to my family right now?
family. And then my parents come back home, and everything is fine. And no one says anything.
What? I feel like there had to have been a crime. Like, there's no other reason for the way that they acted.
Koa eventually walked into the kitchen
You're
like
like, oh,
nothing
good, the
happened.
dog's okay. That's cool.
He's fine. Apparently, he snuck up on her. He was like an 80-pound Samoyed. Like, I don't know how she didn't
He's
know
very
he was
white,
there.
very large.
Yeah. Yeah.
Much like Grant.
Fluffy. Yeah.
That's appalling.
Yeah.
Also hilarious.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
now that we know everyone's okay.
It's funny now.
Hey.
Yeah. It's a sticker on Edgar's water bottle now.
Nah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We're
Join the
supporters.
Patreon. Buy some merch.
We're sending those to our patrons for Christmas.
Yeah. So we do that. And then Christmas morning, we wake up early and then we do presents, which Edgar thinks is bizarre because like there are no turns. Everybody just gets all the presents with their names on them and everybody just opens them.
Why is there not
Why are there
order?
not turns?
People just pass out presents at her house, and I'm like, no.
Casey.
You go, and then I go, and then somebody else goes, and we
We
all
literally
say, oh, that's so cute.
talked about this on, was it Patreon or an
Yeah, we talked
episode?
about this yesterday.
Yesterday on Patreon, Grant's family has this, it sounds like the same thing Edgar does, where they all take turns, and he's also appalled by people that just all open I'm an only child, so none of that ever applied to me because I was the only one with presents. But
There's just a story behind every gift.
I mean, I get it now because I have now put an effort to other people's gifts, and
Yeah.
I'll be damned if other people don't know every reason I bought that gift for them.
Be assigned a wedding lottery ticket.
I will not be put to the side while everyone else opens their gift.
I mean, I get why people take turns. My family just doesn't. Like, I've tried to slow it down. I've tried
They're just trying to get out of the house.
slowly allocating. It doesn't work. Like, my mom is like, she's divvying out. She wants it to be.
To be fair, I love Christmas at their house because I am their favorite child.
And you get a
I
lot of
get
presents.
Great presents.
Yeah.
I got a $1,300 bottle of bourbon.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, to be clear, we're pretty sure that my mom didn't know she did.
I don't think she knew that
However,
yet. We talked about that.
On it. It's here.
We're pretty sure that was an accident. She does not remember buying it nor gifting it. She thought she had given him another bottle. My mom.
Which is even funnier.
If I can just say this real quick, this is an out-of-body experience to watch your thought process because it looks so similar to my thought process. Like watching myself on the podcast and looking at this.
Yes. As I was like doing something and I was like, oh, I feel like I've seen Grant do this on Instagram.
It was also weird watching you interview Edgar. I was like, am I watching a talk show? This is weird.
Welcome back from the break. We changed hosts.
Oh no, never mind. I'm gonna have to edit this.
Yeah, but my mom buys gifts year round and then
love that.
hides them
And then she, oh yeah.
and then she forgets. But I also
Like a squirrel.
okay, but sometimes I think like a drunk squirrel. Like I think sometimes she's like had a glass or two of like wine, or like I said this the other day, like gin and tonic reminds me of my childhood. And like,
Did I raise you?
or like I heard you ask Edgar like downstairs, like, oh, so you've been to Napa? And I was like, yes, since I was like 5. Like I've been going to wineries like my entire life. It just like explains a lot about me. But like she just like hides things, but then she doesn't always remember where she puts them. And like parents of our generation just have so many things and stuff, which is why like we're so organized.
Don't look at me like that, Casey. Yeah. I've inherited maximalism, and you're gonna need to live with it.
Yeah, and
A
like
storage unit.
I already have one.
That's one.
Actually, Lydia offered to let me store things in her complex of storage units.
Oh my god, you're your first sponsor.
Probably.
Oh, you should.
Yeah, we probably don't hurt.
Yeah, North Glen mini storage.
yeah, you should give her a few of those.
Anyway,
But yeah, she just like stores things, like squirrels things away, but then she forgets about them. So then when Edgar like Googled that whiskey when he went to open it a couple months later, he was like, where'd she get this?
really expensive.
Yeah, and he was like, where'd she get this? And I was like, she probably doesn't know. And I asked, and she was like, I have no idea. I actually thought I gave him a different bottle. And I was like, interesting. She was, why? And I was like, no reason. He just likes it.
Anyway,
Yeah,
Moving
she
on.
probably bought that 4 or 5 years prior to giving it
which
to
is
Edgar.
why it's so
had
expensive
hidden
now.
it.
Yeah.
And then found it and was like, I was clearly going to give this to Edgar.
Honestly,
And
I
then-
aspire to be like that at some point. I just want to have all of the presents for everyone all the time so I can always put people down. I have a present for you. You don't have one for me? Interesting.
You know I have a present for you.
I don't.
Just gotta let him say it. That was a heavy silence. Let him have it.
I don't feel like what you're doing is healthy.
No, it's not. Absolutely, I've accepted it.
I just know it's going to take me a full year to find the perfect gift for somebody.
I have started just like if I see something that reminds me of someone, I'll buy it. And then like I have a present for my cousin that I've had since like May that I was like, I'll give it to him when his birthday is. And then I think I missed his birthday. So it's going to be a Christmas present now. But I did buy it for him.
Is it a really expensive bottle of whiskey?
No, it's cufflinks that have little bicycles on them because he rides bikes.
Oh, that's very cute.
Thank you.
My wrapping is really nice, and it
I
matches.
know.
The tree.
The presents under the tree always make me really happy because there's always presents underneath your tree. It doesn't matter what time of year.
Yeah, because I probably bought the gift in February. As soon as the tree goes up, I have to wrap it because it's a part of the ensemble.
Yeah, so there's about 7 trees in this house, 6 of which you can't see at the moment, but they have a Christmas week, the week after Halloween, and they put all these decorations up, and
It takes a while.
gives me a lot of Christmas joy because I have approximately 1 Christmas tree in Casey and I's townhouse, and that's it. So
Maia specifically asked, can you leave town at some point so I can stay at your house and watch your dogs while your Christmas decorations are up?"
80% of that was so that I could hide that tiny pickle in your home, which he still hasn't found, by the way.
Okay. I will
Anyway.
find it by December 27th. Anyways,
Maya, do you have any Christmas traditions?
Grant, you're back up.
I don't know. No.
Not at all what I was trying to
Not
force
really.
in the situation, but yeah,
We have Am I the Assholes that we still need to get
Oh,
through.
we're gonna
I
do
don't-
that still?
We don't need to. We should do 1, maybe.
You found 4, so yeah, we can do
Mine
one.
had juicy ones.
No.
I also have I think a fun one for the 2 seconds. But so that's
Yeah,
a
what's
no on the
yours?
Christmas traditions, or
I was an only child, so it was like, here are your presents.
but even in the month of December, would you guys do anything?
We had like an advent calendar, but it didn't have any gifts. I just got really excited to move the little thing from one day to the next.
That's kind of cute though.
Yeah, sure.
Our advent calendars always had chocolate in them.
Very jealous, actually.
Well, our advent calendars always had chocolate in them, and then we'd always go to my aunt's house to make pfeffernuts, which are these.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
That was a lot of consonants.
I'm actually pretty sure the correct German pronunciation is Pfeffernuss, but we always called them Pfeffernuts growing up. Okay. So it is, you just put flour and sugar and then a bunch of molasses and orange rind into a bowl, and then you make it into a dough, and then you stretch it out real thin. You know when you used to make Play-Doh snakes?
Sure.
Where you would roll it out with your hands
Yeah.
and be long thin. So you roll it out like that, and then you dice them up. So that way they're about the size of the tip of your pinky. And then you bake them. And because they're so small, when you bake them, they get relatively hard. And then it's a coffee cookie. And so you'd have your coffee or tea when people would come over, and you'd put a pull of Pfeffernuss on the table, and you'd pop a Pfeffernuss in, or a Pfeffernut, and you would sip your tea or coffee, and it would kind of melt and dissolve, and it was molasses and orange, and it was, naturally sweet, and it was a German Christmas cookie. So we would make Pfeffernuss and sugar cookies as we watched football, and we would come down from the big city, Lincoln, with Valentino's Pizza, and we'd be on my aunt and uncle's hog farm, and we'd spend an evening doing that.
It's so annoying how nice Grant's family is.
He grew up in a Norman Rockwell painting, and it's infuriating. That entire time, I was like, it's infuriating how happy your family is.
I mean,
Teresa, adopt me. This is my 3rd ask.
Listen, she'll hear this on the 27th, and it'll break her heart that I didn't just bring you along with me to the
As
holidays.
it should.
Yeah, no,
Good,
it's
I
great.
hope it does. I hope that it comes back to bite you in the ass for once.
My aunt, so it was one of those farm kitchens where all of the salt and pepper shakers matched and were pigs or chickens or something.
adorable. Makes me
and
wanna vomit.
As kids, anytime we would accidentally drop a cookie on the ground when it was still in dough form, we'd feel compelled to throw it away. But my aunt was a nurse, and she goes, "Don't worry. All the germs bake off in the oven anyways." And then we'd place it on the cookie sheet and we'd pop it in the oven.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a really sweet childhood.
Anyway, am I the asshole?
Maybe the Kellogg's tree?
Thank you! It's infuriating.
Don't worry, this cookie is sprinkled with magic.
Christmas spirit!
Yeah.
Everybody else in this room say, don't worry, I'm in therapy.
Meanwhile,
I've not heard Grant.
And then
Grant's like, and I love my family.
Like, this night.
I mean, listen, the gay thing was weird for them all for a little bit. But you know, what are we going to do? Not go to Red Lobster together? Like, come on. You know, we love each other.
Am I the asshole for punching Grant in the nose?
Am I the asshole for having a really sweet childhood?
Yes.
Crowd opinion, yes.
Abso-fucking-lutely you are. You deserve some trauma. Are
Listen,
you ready for my story, or are you going to keep talking about how happy your family
I'm
is?
an atheistic,
Okay.
fat,
Yeah.
gay kid who grew up in Nebraska. It wasn't all silver
Yeah, but
linings.
now it's good.
It just mostly was. It made me into a healthy, well-rounded person who's funny at parties.
I've said this once and I'll say this again. You have told me a story repeatedly about how you and your neighborhood friends wrote rules to a game in cherries you picked off of a tree on the sidewalk. I'm going to need you to shut up.
Well, how else are you supposed to...
Children's book.
Yeah, right? That is not something that ever happens in reality, ever.
How else are you supposed to govern cul-de-sac kickball?
You don't! You get in an argument with that child, your mom speaks to their mom, and then you never talk to that family
Listen,
again.
a crucial detail in that story that you always forget is that it was actually so that way we could host the elections to decide what games got played in what order that afternoon. Because you didn't want to play Pass the Ghost until evening when it was dark and you could kind of hide a little, so you had to figure out what afternoon game you're going to play. And there was a there was a permanent baseball glove in the center of the cul-de-sac that was second base that had just like kind of fused to the asphalt. One 4th of July, the neighborhood parents came together and closed off the street.
No, keep going.
Don't forget, if you didn't show up to elections, you didn't get to vote.
Or no, even worse, if you voted in the election and then
you
did not
didn't
honor the
participate.
results, lost your vote.
So we should run our government now.
It's a huge life lesson for the January 6th conspirators.
Okay, am I the asshole? Third time's maybe the charm, and Grant will respect it. Are you ready now? Do you have more Norman-Rockwell painting
keep giving
things?
me opportunities.
Am I the asshole for not reminding my husband about holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, etc.? I want the listeners to know that I did read out all of the Am I the Asshole options I had to our studio audience. And Edgar's response was, you gotta do that one, I'm curious, which makes it sound like he is also curious about if he is the asshole for not reminding his husband, aka is Kelsi is the asshole for not reminding her husband about holidays, birthdays, anniversaries. He's not smiling, so I'm gonna keep
It'd be
going.
nice to pull the group.
Careful, they're not on the side of joy. So,
Yeah.
hostile crowd, like we're filming an episode of Murray here.
Okay, this one's kind of a long one, not really super long, but my mother-in-law's birthday was about 2 months ago. They live on the other side of the country, so it would typically mean a phone call and maybe a birthday card. Well, I guess my husband forgot about it and didn't call her or send a card. That is his actual mother, by the way. I found this out because she called and was disappointed that she didn't hear anything from us. I told her that my husband probably should have put her birthday card in his calendar, or her birthday in his calendar, and set a reminder, and that he never does. She asked me why I didn't keep track of this stuff for him because, quote, he's a guy, they don't care about that stuff. She mentioned he'd skipped his sister's birthday and niece and nephew's birthdays too, and that I should start trying to remind him. And then she said, quote, and don't forget about Mother's Day either. I said that she would have to talk to him about this, and it didn't sit well with her. She got annoyed and told me that, like it or not, it's kind of my job to keep track of this stuff because, again, guys don't care. I said, well, if he doesn't care, he doesn't care. I'm not his mom. She ended up talking to him about it, and he got pretty annoyed with me for not reminding him about this stuff and said he just doesn't remember this kind of stuff. He said that we're a team and that he's obviously not good at this, so I should step up. I asked him what the release date for a video game he'd been talking about was. He said the exact date. I just looked at him for a minute, and he got pretty defensive and said, That's totally different. Then I said we would make a calendar together and that we would both put on our phones so that he would get reminders for important dates. He agreed. So I started the calendar, entered my dates, and it has been sitting there unused for the past 2 months. What happened? He missed another birthday and the whole thing started again. But now it's become this big war between his family and me for not keeping up on birthdays because it's supposed to be my job. He got really mad at me for not filling in the calendar for him because I should know all the dates anyway. I don't. Am I the asshole? And then there's an edit. So I don't have to keep saying this over and over. I had no idea when his mom's birthday was. She's not my mom, so I had never celebrated her birthday before, so I am not sure why I would ever know that. Same with the others in his family. This is why a shared calendar was the big solution I came up with. I can't celebrate something if I don't know when it is. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think we all know she's not the asshole there, right?
Kelsi agrees.
I think, okay, so there's something about like, it feels different to say this in front of a live studio audience. There's something about like kind of like learned helplessness and how that like imbalances the emotional labor inside a relationship.
Yeah.
If it's your own family, you got to remember when their birthdays are.
At least enough to put it in a calendar so that your wife can help you.
And then so on that front, I'll say this too. I am infamously awful at remembering that stuff off the top of my head. Like if it's like late July, and Mom, you know I love you, so I can confidently say this. If it's late July, the thought doesn't always naturally occur to me that my mother's birthday's coming up soon. I actually don't really think about anyone's birthday other than my own. So there's...
Shocking no one. When's my birthday?
Hold on. June 22nd.
I was really close.
How close am I?
A day.
Thank you. You're not going to say good job, but that's what
No,
the
I'm
eyes
not.
are saying. I want you to... Audio platform, Maya, quietly impressed right now.
I was
We
quietly
already
impressed.
talked about Valentine's Day. You know what also happened on my birthday?
When is his birthday?
Brad shows up on Wednesday, May 24th. Time
And?
to film the podcast.
Yeah, duh.
I didn't
Business
ask
as
you for
usual.
a pure approval for that. No.
Listen,
Hey man, can you put that in our picture?
It was in our shared calendar.
Brad shows up and he goes, doing anything today? I was like, no, not really doing anything. Maya goes, oh yeah, it's his birthday. And Greg goes, what the fuck? Should we...
yeah, in my defense, if I had known, if someone had shared one speck of personal
You
data
don't like your
with
birthday
the
being
people
celebrated. Don't come at me
in
like
their
that.
lives, if you'd given me a chance to know it was your birthday, I would propose any other date. Also, does not act like I don't have skin in the game. I attended Maya's birthday party, which was lovely. You know I loved it. On the Friday
During
of Pride.
My God.
It is the high holy days. The only other one we get as gay people is Halloween, which we also turn into a weekend.
As a straight person, as a bi person, I
was
don't
saying-
have any holidays.
I was going to say, you're not a straight person.
Sorry.
Anyways, so I have a reoccurring event in my calendar, and then I also have many alerts to remind me to like start thinking and planning and doing something. I think the first alert is 1 month out. And then it's
That's
like
fair.
a
That's-
great time to start thinking and like planning and doing and things like that. And so I can, celebrate this person I love in a way that I think they will feel the love. And at the same time, I don't have to fundamentally change who I am.
I hate men.
It's the same way with... Listen, last thing I'll say, then I'll let you tee off on this for a second.
Okay.
So for my birthday, went out with some friends. Lydia purchased my first drink on my birthday, which I thought was really sweet. And then as she gives it to me, she goes, "This is from Griffin." And I go, "What are you talking about?" And she goes, "Griffin contacted me earlier this week and Venmo'd me some
really
money."
cute.
I know, right? So then, of course, naturally, I put a reoccurring event into my own calendar to remember to do that.
Oh, Griffin's birthday.
Yes, of course. But the good news is
Okay.
Griffin's birthday was 2 days before Thanksgiving this year. So I just ordered a martini and then Dad picked up the tab. And I go, "No, Dad, it's a birthday gift." My dad goes, and I go, "Well, okay."
Sorry, what was that
He heard
noise?
it was from me.
Okay, that was good. Yeah, Mo's
It's an audio
absolutely
platform.
made that noise.
Hire me for all your audiobooks. Anyways, what are your
From the
thoughts?
small dog.
Yeah, or just for the sound effects. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on recurring
It's
calendars?
super unfair for the husband to be assuming that all of the women in his life are going to hold him to whatever standard they're expecting. And also, she gave him an out. She made the shared calendar and told him, like, hey, if you put all your stuff in this calendar, like we can both work on it. And he didn't, and then continued to blame her. And I think that's bullshit and implies that her time is less important than his time. And I think that's incredibly rude. And I think the mother-in-law is also problematic in saying, well, it's your job now to take care. No, it's not. He's not a child. And grow up.
So I'm glad I said my position first. So
Also hilarious that he knows the date of the video game that's being released.
It's
the two of us.
it's weird to be.
Casey's not here, but that first look was to the empty chair next to me. And then
It was, but he's gone, so it's now you're the next turn. What did you think?
I love how we're now starting to infringe on Esther Perel's territory, which is she records the therapy sessions she does with other people. No, that was mostly a joke.
Did you see that TikToker? I cannot remember his name for the life of me. He was in the Mean Girls trailer that we saw last night.
There's a lot of actors in that trailer, though.
I know, but he's like just a TikToker, but he recorded his end of the therapy sessions like after his like very public breakup with another famous TikToker.
Chris, whatever.
Yeah,
yes.
Olsen.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, that was
That's
it.
all
Oh,
I
okay,
had to
good.
say. Yeah. Okay.
It's like talking to my parents. You know that one actor?
Where's the owl?
Oh, he was in. He literally leaned forward, opened up a drawer, and grabbed out the magnifying glass. I don't know if that was it or if he just knew exactly where it was in the garage, but
It's really funny.
Listen, if you ask me, Grant, go grab me a microscope.
Magnifying glass.
There we go, magnifying glass,
Good
real
job.
quick. I'd be going to Ace Hardware. Here's the thing, though. To play devil's advocate, famous for his lack of advocates. I love to say that during class discussions when the annoying kid goes, not to play devil's advocate for a second. I say famous for his lack of advocates just to really undercut him, you know?
You're
Anyways,
immediately the least favorite person in the class when you say that.
I say it to the child.
No, like to play devil's
Oh, yeah,
advocate.
yeah. But anyways, to
Casey
do
used
it.
to say that to me when we first started our relationship. He doesn't anymore.
What he just says, you're right, or I'm sorry.
No, he just doesn't try and play devil's advocate like a dick.
Okay, but like we got to give him a little, you know? Is there something to be said about how like we have individual strengths, and if you could help me, you being a person who cares about me, and me being a person who cares about you, couldn't you be helping me in this situation?
But she gave him the opportunity to help himself, right? She said, like, this is one time that you need to remember all these dates, put them in this calendar so that I can help you. And then he still didn't do it, and then continued to blame her, even though technically the ball was in his court at that point.
I hear that.
Like, technically they did support him in the way that they knew how, in the way that it was reasonable for her to be able to. And he still didn't put in the, like, you still need to put in a modicum of effort to be helped.
So then maybe my last question is, and I don't think I actually believe this, for the record, before I even say it.
To play devil's advocate?
100%, yes. But the mother's comment about how, like, this is really kind of your job to keep track of.
It's bullshit.
Of course it is, but isn't that also maybe a way, like, a certain generation understood, like, wifehood and, like, womanhood was
being
to, like...
a secretary, for sure.
But isn't there a certain element, too, where it's, like, the power you exercise is, like, the social capital in a relationship? Like, obviously, it's an outdated form of thinking.
But that's putting emotional burden on the wife without any. Yeah, I understand that you said you didn't believe it, but it's like the husband being like, "Well, our house isn't clean," and the wife like, "Well, you could help," and then the husband maybe tell me what to do. Like, no, that's objectively not the fucking point.
I agree. And this entire conversation reminded me of this incredible meme the other day. And it was like 1960s husband, like at office, smoking, drinking indoors, cheating on his wife. And then it shoots to his wife at home, who's just high on speed and putting meat in Jell-O. Let's not act like they had it 100% wrong, okay?
It's like, I don't know how to tell her that it tastes horrible.
Meanwhile, she's like, "Ooh, look, it's Frozen in time, just like all of us. Okay.
Florence Pugh.
And literally in everything she does. Honestly, you could say Florence Pugh in Little Woman, and I'd be like, yeah,
Yes.
that's exactly it. Also, I think the opposite end of the spectrum is I have a friend, my friend Ashley, love you to death. She keeps just like 7 thank you cards in her car at all times.
What?
She is the most ready person in my life to be grateful. You know, there's no one else more, and that includes Lydia, who's pretty good on the turnaround. There's no one else more ready to say, Thank you,
Barbie.
than my friend Ashley. And it's so funny, Ashley's also a speech and debate coach, and so it's so funny to see the 2 different types of speech and debate coaches. I'm over here like, anyways, great storyteller, thanks, bye. And there's like a mountain of grading that I have not done.
Jesus.
Ashley keeps a printer in her trunk. Just the complete and total opposites.
But it's not a, here's how you get over your heroin addiction.
Which is, again, such a good and important thing to get over.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, have we gotten a response back on our ultimatum over the Riverlands?
Edgar, do we have the Riverlands?
Raise the bannermen, we march! Just hope they don't have any dragons. We are so deep into our own nonsense now. I really hope that you've made it back to Kansas City or Cincinnati or Spokane or whatever you are road tripping to after Christmas. We hope that the snow isn't too bad. I'm out of creative things to say. And I need a glass of water.
Do we want to do another Am I the Asshole on this
Do you
episode?
want to?
We're only at an hour. Oh. We're at an hour 20. Yeah.
Listener.
But we have about like
Friend.
15 minutes. Friend.
Kelsey.
Yeah.
I am so good at identifying how long 90 minutes is, because that's how long I will stay on a date before I leave if I'm not having a good time. I can get it down to like the second. Right now
Look, you said you needed water and it's appeared.
Oh my God, the service here, fantastic.
The service is great. We must tip them well.
I didn't bring any cash, did you? Anyways, it's around
We
this.
just got back from Europe and it was life-changing.
I have some euros in my fanny
But
pack.
also, they don't tip there.
Is-
Just pay our employees well enough.
Is that why there's no ice in this water? Or,
Unless it's sparkling, that's how you know.
I feel like you hit a Casey nerve and now I think I need to take it back, dump it out, and put ice in there.
oh, no, it's fine.
No,
I
he's
don't
just
know
being a
either.
dick.
It's more room for water.
Don't worry about it.
One time when I was in... Oh, all I was going to say is I'm so good at timing 90 minutes that it's around this time I'd go to the bathroom, look at my phone, respond to a couple text messages, be like, sweet, we can start wrapping this baby up. And then I go back, ask for the check, and then get out of there.
Occasionally he stops by our house.
Yeah, you need to tell Edgar and Kelsey about that off air. Absolutely not on air.
So-
Seems illegal.
I won't tell you a lot of the details, but essentially one night I was having drinks with a gentleman.
A gentleman caller.
And yes, gentleman caller from me. Let me rush down from the bell tower. And I realized pretty early on that I wasn't interested in having anything else with this man, including drinks again. And so after 90 minutes, I made the decision, well, this night could get stretched out a little bit longer, and then I could never see this person again. Or I could go home and eat the frozen pierogies that are in my freezer. And I chose the latter. And that was really funny. And now a lot of people send me pierogies content. And I don't think I've actually told you that.
No, we had a DM in our like I don't know what happened to it. Maybe you deleted it. Someone messaged us that was like frozen pierogies and
So we've had
else.
like 1 or 2 in the podcast's DMs.
They're my favorite.
Personal DMs about every other meme I get these days is a pierogi meme.
I love that. I love when I get memes because it's rare compared to when you get memes. But when you get memes about your dating life, it really fuels a fire within me.
I had a person message us recently, and I do think they meant this kindly, but they were like, hey, I'm also 30 plus and single, and it's just really great to hear someone else struggle with it. Like, that wasn't the exact words. They were way kinder, but the subtext was, isn't it awful? Thanks for being out here with me. And it was like, of course.
I'm 27. I have no money and no prospects. And I'm afraid.
Another year where there's no one to make pfeffernuts with. An immediate
And
eye
you're a
roll.
Norman-Rockwell painting of a life. Get out of here.
I did tell Kelsi. I was like, I'll take Grant to a pumpkin patch.
Oh, please don't.
He told me several times.
Because he did go on a date to the pumpkin patch and ended up being disappointed. I think he needs to just go with a group of friends.
No, Edgar just wanted to take him alone. It wasn't like a friend.
I'll take Grant to a pumpkin patch. Like,
You would have a great time with Edgar, is all I'm
For
saying.
$1 a month, you can help this lonely podcaster. Listen, I have the financial ability and the mobility to go to pumpkin patches.
He's offering to offer you companionship.
Thank
He's
you.
a mail order wife.
As a professional companion to many heterosexual couples,
That's true.
I know the art.
I wasn't invited. This wasn't like I feel sad for Grant. It was legitimately like, me, Edgar, alone, without you, wife, want to take Grant as my friend to a pumpkin patch. The two of us together.
I'm sure we'd have a great time. Honestly,
It should be two of you and Casey. Honestly, that feels correct.
two cousins and then like one of
The
their
gay friend?
one of their older sister's boyfriend who's trying
Yeah.
to get in good with the family? Like, what am I supposed to do there? I will
It
say
seems
this though.
great.
Something that I enjoyed and that I know you two Matt boys would love was the corn maze.
Touch of the tisms.
Yeah, are you kidding? But the corn maze, 100% thrived there. And the
Casey loves
tall,
the corn maze.
well-dressed gay man I went to the pumpkin patch with, if he wasn't with me, he was going to die out there.
Oh my God.
Listen, you'd be surprised how many like 30-degree angle turns there are in a corn maze.
I was only there. I found a dried up like corn cob on the ground as we entered the corn maze and proceeded to not know where we were the rest of the time in the corn maze because I was just interested in the dried cob of corn that I had that I could keep picking kernels off of. So also a touch of the tisms.
I think we all just have weird little hobbies.
Anyway, should we record Patreon?
Oh, I have a whole Am I the Asshole. Is that what for Patreon is for?
I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about Christmas traditions, so I figure that seems fine. What do you want to do?
Whatever you want to do.
while you all are thinking, you should get a P.O. box. I'll sponsor.
I should start
will
thinking.
Sponsor the P.O. box just because I know somebody's gonna send Grant pierogi.
We have thought.
Oh, fuck.
I've thought about
Absolutely.
getting a P.O. box. I've talked to you about getting a P.O.
You should get
box.
a P.O. box because you know you will get.
Wait, did we talk about this on Sunday?
We did talk about
And
it
that's
on
not
Sunday.
live yet, right?
No.
We've had a lot of the same conversations the last 2 days.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, because Sunday was yesterday.
Yes. Yes, it was. Today
Here's
is
my
Monday.
question. Do we need to record more Patreon content?
We do need a Patreon
Then
for
let's
this
save this for
episode.
Patreon. And then I'll say this
excellent.
last thing. Edgar,
Yes.
thank you so much for your offer to bring me to a pumpkin patch. I have found that they are actually quite expensive. And also, just basically like Instagram land, which if I wanted...
You went to the wrong pumpkin patch. We've been over this.
Did I?
Yes, you need to go to Anderson Farms.
You had to pay to touch the chickens, which I thought was criminal.
That's how most things are, because otherwise you're going to get a lot of people touching chickens that don't want to be touched.
Also, tell me you're from the Midwest and not tell me you're from
That's also really true. You had
Actually,
chickens at your beck and call.
That's
we
not
don't.
true at all. We had mean geese, which are a lot harder to be killed by
not.
wildlife. I don't know if people know this. You actually get guard geese to watch your other birds.
I would never. Have you seen? I've shown you the
For what? No, you can't finish that
would
sentence.
never hire a goose to guard anything
Oh,
because
would.
I
You're
am terrified of
mean.
geese. Have you seen the inside of a
They have teeth.
Yeah, have you seen the
Absolutely not.
we've been over this.
Yes, and that's what my relatives who ran a hog farm had. They had a flock of geese.
And they also had a hog farm, so
Yeah, and a bunch of wildcats.
I can get my
Anyways, it's an Instagram land, and I didn't want to hard launch the guy I was there with on
here,
Instagram,
geese.
so. One time when we were at the hog farm as kids, because we'd always get shipped there during the summer for like a couple days.
shouldn't say that.
What?
Often.
Shipped to a hog farm over the
I got
summer?
shipped to a farm.
I mean, yeah, I had 5 different aunts and uncles
Okay,
who
yeah,
were
fair enough.
farmers.
Okay,
And all of them treat us great. Yeah, I've said this to you before. They let us mix our own Gatorade because they just
That's-
bought Gatorade powder. And so we would take that powder and turn it into Gatorade syrup and then like drink it like it was manna from heaven. Anyways, now that we were all hopped up on homegrown bacon, pancakes fried in bacon grease, and syrup Gatorade, my brother and I would just chase down farm cats for most of the morning.
That's horrifying.
And then it was a beautiful childhood. And then in the afternoon, we would then climb up a tree to where they had this like makeshift tree house, and we'd spend the afternoon kind of hanging up out there, and you could actually watch the hogs. And one time we caught.
Say one more sentence, I'm cutting this podcast off right now. I'm so sick of you. You and your perfect childhood need to shut up.
We caught a hog escape once. We like were able to see it from our angle and alert our uncle, and he helped save the farm.
That is a children's book. You just,
Mom, the hogs are escaping.
They're the smartest farm animal you could have.
you just got Jimmy on the farm saves the hog. Lower down.
Anyway, while Grant is living in his Norman-Rockwell painting, I am running a mildly successful podcast. So if you'd like to
That I
support
keep
us,
being invited on.
I don't know why. If you'd like to support us, we're on social media at Well I Laughed. Rate us 5 stars on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to us on. You can email us at wellilaughtpod@gmail.com, and then we're on Patreon at Well I Laughed Podcast, where we have a lot of fun, and we're also sending all of our Patreons patron stickers. But if you join right now, because this is releasing on the 27th, it will be too late to receive free stickers. So I should not have said that right now. We'll figure it out.
But we wish you a happy new year. And we'll see you in 2020. Oh my God, this is the last one of 2023.
Happy end of 2023.
Oh, yeah. Happy
That's
end of this.
appalling. Especially because it is currently December 2nd.
That's how prepared we are. Maya is. Anyways, we should say goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.
Guess anything you want to say?
This is great.
That was a no.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Hey, we realized that we didn't announce the next theme, and I know that a lot of you probably don't listen to the very last second of every episode, but if you do, congrats. You get to know next week's theme, which is Welcome to New York. Anyway, thanks for listening. See you next week.